another tutorial on how you can take a basic Google image and utilize that in your projects, something that you'll be able to cut out and use on cards or scrapbooks or whatever projects you might be making. So the first thing that we need to do is actually go to Google an image. I Googled an image of gnomes, and the one that I liked was this one right here. So I just, it has good resolution on it, so I just basically did a save to my desktop. On a Mac, I just right-click, and then I just do Save Image As, and then I give it a name, and then I save it right to my desktop. And then from there, we'll go back into Design Space. We want to go to the Upload button right here. Click on that, and then this green Upload Image. And we're going to browse our computer and try to find the file that we just had chosen. So it was Gnome. He's right here. And I'm going to open that file, and here he is. So I'm going to choose him as a complex image just because he has a lot of color to him. If we chose simple, you can see what happens to the image quality. It's not very good. Moderately complex doesn't fix it either. So we're going with complex. It makes it look as it was pulled off Google. So then we hit the green continue button. And then from here, I just go to the advanced options. And because this one has a lot of color to it, I try to bump it up about to, say, 24. And then we have up here in the corner, we have our, I call it the magic eraser here. This is also just a regular eraser and a crop tool. We're just going to use the magic eraser for this. It's already selected. And when you hover over the image, you see the crosshair. And so you click on the parts of the image that you do not want. So anywhere on this checkered, gray and white checkered area, we do not want. So we click it. And this is what we do want. This is the blue and white checker. We are looking for this to be behind our image. And this one looks really clear. You can preview your image to make sure, and you'll see what Design Space sees as what would be cut out. So if you hit preview, then you can see just the shape of this gnome is all that it's going to transfer in. So that's exactly what we are looking for. Then we're going to go to the green continue button. And for this purpose, if I saved it as a cut file, it would just cut this shape out just like this of whatever cardstock, which maybe that's something that would be cute. If you had cute cardstock, you could do that. I am looking to be able to print and cut this image. So I'm just going to save this as a print and cut. If I ever decided that I wanted to just cut him out of cardstock, I can change that once I'm in Design Space. But I'm going to save it as a print and cut, because if I saved it as just a cut file, I would lose all the details if I ever decided to go back and save it or to use it as it is seen right here. So we're just going to save this as a print and cut. It's already got the name of Gnome. I'm good with that. And I just hit save. So now it's right here in my images. So when I click on it, the green box is around it. I have it selected. It's in my load right here. And I'm going to insert that image onto my canvas. I can resize it, make it, bigger if I want to. And all his details are there. Over in my layers panel, it says that it is a cut and print. So when I'm ready to cut this out of my machine, I just would go up to make it. And here I've got my the box around it, and this tells me that it is ready to be printed on my printer and cut out from my machine. So before we go on further, I want to show you another type of image that you can do. And so I'm going to cancel out of this cut. We're just going to leave this little gnome right over here. And now we're going to go back to Google. And now I want to search for a, I just chose something random, but a mushroom silhouette. And so I'm going to go into images, and I'm just looking for something simple. This one here works. Again, it has good resolution. So I right click and I save the image as, and I'm on a Mac. If you're on a PC, it might be something different, but name it mushroom and then save it. So now that is saved, I go back to Design Space, and I'm going to go back to the upload button. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to hit the upload an image. I'm going to browse my computer to try to find where that mushroom is. It is right here. And then I'm going to open that. Now for this one, it's only one color. So we can actually just choose simple, and that makes this background much easier to eliminate than if we chose the complex, because we would probably have to really do some work to get all these little dots out. But since it's one color, it's very high contrast. We're just going to go with simple this time, and then continue. So again, we have the eraser, it's automatically selected. We don't have to do anything with the advanced options. We hover over the part we want to delete, and we click it. We look for the blue and white checkered background. That's what we want. If we want to preview our cut, we just take a look at it right there. There it is. And that looks good to me. So we're going to continue. Once we continue, this one specifically, if I chose the print and cut, it's just black. It doesn't matter to me. I don't necessarily, want it to be, I don't want to print a black mushroom. I'm going to, I could choose a cute paper and choose the cut file, but again, it's just sometimes easier to save it as a print than cut. So we're going to go ahead, it's tagged as mushroom up here, and we're going to save that as a print and cut file. And then we're going to select that, and we're going to insert that image onto our canvas as well. So this is showing as a print and cut. And if I wanted to ever change that, I go right up here to the fill, and I would just say no fill. And now it's a cut image. And so whatever color cardstock that I would choose, if I had something decorative, I certainly could use that, and it would cut out in that color cardstock or that patterned cardstock, whatever I have. But what I want to show you with these images, especially when it's a silhouette that we chose that gave us this nice solid image, we can go in, choose print as we had it before, and then when we go to the color option, we can actually insert a pattern. So if we looked at original artwork, it comes back as the black one that we did, but we want to look at an actual pattern. So there are patterns within Design Space. You can upload more. So some of these I have uploaded, and then some just belong to Design Space. There's a filter, so you can choose, if you click on filter, you can choose just your patterns that you've uploaded, and there's a few that I've uploaded myself. Or you can choose multicolored, and then you get all kinds of different patterns. So what I want to do, see if I can close out of that so I can move the mushroom so you'll be able to see more of what we're, put it right over here actually, so that when I do choose a pattern, you'll be able to see it change as I choose the pattern. So if I click on the filter and just choose multicolored, I can scroll down through here, and if I want to have Elmo on my mushroom, I can choose an Elmo pattern, and there's Elmo on my mushroom. This is going to be set for a print and cut because we're putting a pattern into it. I can scroll down even further. I can choose a floral design, and then it's going to put a floral design into that mushroom. And there's a floral design. So you can choose any of these patterns that you want. You can have stripes, you can have plaids, you can have, polka dots, any of them. You could put it in there. So it's just a matter of your preference and what you might want to put on your mushroom. So this looks kind of cute. It's a little, it's got little deer and things like that, but it's really hard to see. I kind of like the polka dots. So we choose polka dots, and actually I just saw there's little mushrooms. You could do little mushrooms on your mushroom. But I want to show you the polka dots, and that looks really cute. And so what you can do with this is you can actually edit your pattern. If you want those dots to be bigger or smaller, you can edit your pattern. And when you click on edit pattern, you get this, you can scale it. So if I want the polka dots to be bigger, I just grab this little slider bar and I move it up some. And now I have larger polka dots. If I want to make the dots smaller, I just pull it the other way, and then they're really small. If I want to move the pattern up, this pattern doesn't really matter, but I can move it horizontally. I can move it over. If I want to see more of this edge over here have a full dot on it, then I can move it over a little bit to where it's a little more symmetrical, and this whole edge here is half polka dots. Or if I wanted to move it up or down, I would just do the vertical, and it moves the pattern up or down. And you see the change right here as you're doing it. You can rotate it so many degrees. Again, with this polka dot pattern, it really doesn't matter. It's pretty set all the way through. I can flip the pattern, from side to side. And so if you notice, these dots over here, I can flip them back to the other side. And now there's the orange and the green and the blue. And then again, up and down, I can flip it the other way. When you're satisfied with the way it looks, you just close this out. And now you have your little mushroom pattern. And, if you decide to make it something different, you can put whatever pattern you want in there. There's so many in here to choose from, especially if you're an Access member. If you're not, then you can certainly upload patterns. You can go online and find patterns to upload. So depending on what it is that you're looking for, you can put patterns into any shape, and that would go for this little guy too. If I didn't want the original artwork on this guy, I would just go right up here, click on pattern, and then I can go in and I can just find any kind of pattern that I would think would be cute, and I can put it in there. So if I wanted him to be purple, I'd click on that, and then I'm just going to get this purple printed pattern into my gnome, and it's going to cut the shape out, but you lose all the details of his face and things like that. So you can go through and you can put, again, like I said, anything you want to fill in the shape. You can even use the same pattern as you have here, or you can put flowers inside him and make him some sort of a little garden gnome. It's going to cut the shape of him out, and it'll have that print right in there. And you can edit the pattern, make it larger, smaller, however you want to do it. For this little guy though, I specifically do want the original artwork, and so I just restore it, and that puts him back. And so now I have two little things that I can cut out. I can put them on a card, I can put them in a scrapbook, I can put them on a tag for a gift bag, whatever I want to do with it. And when I go to make it, it will be able to actually cut both of them out at the same time on one sheet of paper. So from here, we're going to go ahead and actually cut these out so that you can see what we're going to do. So we just go to continue, and then we're going to send the image to the printer. When we send the image to the printer, it automatically has this bleed on. And what bleed does is it just adds a little extra layer all the way around the outside of your image, so that when it does go to cut it, it lessens the chance of it missing the cut a little bit and getting any of the white on it. If you look closely, let's see if I can zoom in here. If you look closely and I turn, I don't know if I can't zoom in and do it enough. But if I turn this bleed off, watch what happens here. It's very slight, but it does, yeah, so you can't even notice when I do it. Turn the bleed on, and you can kind of see it. It got a little bit bigger is what it did, because it's just adding that little bit of blurred area around the edges of both of these to eliminate the machine from accidentally cutting any of the white around it. And it gets you a solid cut. So we definitely, in this instance, we want that bleed to be on. If you're unsure what it is, you click the little information, and here it tells you it extends the ink slightly beyond the border of the image to eliminate a white margin once the image is cut. So bleed should be on, and then we just go right here and we click it to set to print. Okay, so now I have printed this off my printer, and if you look closely, you can see better the blur that happens around the gnome in particular, because of the way his design is. You can see that blur that it puts on there when you put the bleed on. It's a little bit harder to see on the mushroom, but it is there, and you'll see what happens when we go to cut this out. Okay, so we're ready to load our mat. So we're going to just load this image right in here. Got the fine point blade in with some medium weight cardstock, and it's ready to cut. So the first thing it's doing is it's scanning the black line to make sure that it knows exactly where the image is located, to make sure it gets a precise cut. So it's going to scan every side. There's a light that you can see that's on there, and it's scanning every side to get the exact location. Now it's checking to make sure I have the proper blade, and now it will begin cutting. And it's all set, so we'll unload the blade, the mat, and as you can see here, we're going to peel away. Let's see if I can do this better. Get this over here. So you can see we have our little gnome, and he's cut really cute. He's got no white edges. It's white cardstock, so you do kind of see the white through, but it cut him out pretty. I mean, right up to his little ears and everything. And now I can use that in a scrapbook or on a card or as some sort of embellishment or decorative design somewhere. And then here's our mushroom that we use the pattern fill. And so again, you can see how cute that came out, and easy way to insert some cute elements into your designing. So I hope this video helped you and that you have a better understanding of how you can take basic images from Google and utilize them in your crafting. Have a good day.